Hello. It is Amanda from Learning to Love Well, and today I dropped some lemon seeds on the ground. I figured I would chat with you while simultaneously going through my seeds. So if you guys, today is New Year's Eve. My husband had to work because, you know, when you work in any kind of medical field, sometimes you have to work. And I had the desire to do this video all week. However, such is life, right? You have thoughts that are like, oh, I can do this, I can fit this in. And then late at night, you realize, I'm not gonna fit this in. So right now my kids are watching TV. I just finished cooking a ton of recipes, and now I am finally doing what I wanted to do, which was kind of look through my seeds. All I need to do is kind of touch base on them, look at what I have, and then see what I've got. So I figured, let's chat. Let's chat, mamas. So today I want to talk about something that doesn't get addressed a whole lot, which is life skills. Life skills are one of those things that I think we address, but we don't really address. Like, most of us think our education, especially because our education system kind of makes our education system a little bit more focused on like how to test well and do math, science, social studies. A lot of times they leave out maybe more of the practical life skills that we're going to discuss today. So the thing is that life skills are something that don't really get addressed in public school. If we are honest and came up in public school, at least in my public school, we did not do life skills. I think we had one time in like 6th or 7th grade where we had like the baby take it over thing, or think it over, where you had to take the baby home, and I don't even think we cooked. I think we talked about like health issues, those kinds of things, but we really didn't talk about, you know, things that we actually need for the future. Really quick, guys, I have to show you this. It was one that I was looking at in the Baker Creek seed catalog. If you are a gardener, you will understand. This time of the year when you start looking through the seeds that you have, oh Lord, thank you for seeds. Look at this. Look at this. Fun little Prescott Fond Blanc. And it is a really ugly melon, but apparently it is the sweetest cantaloupe fruit. So my kids love cantaloupe. This is going to be good. Lord willing, if I can get it to grow. Lord, please help me get it to grow. But anyway, so we were working on this year. Me and a friend started brainstorming. And I know that not every person knows how to do all these things off the top of their head, and that's okay. You know, I think some of the best things to do is just make sure that really we start thinking about the things that we need to incorporate within our homeschool. Last year, I learned how to seed save. Look at this. Look at this. So pretty. Okay. I digress. So let's talk about it. I actually have a few things written down for you about what are good ideas to think about as life skills. I mean, we all have different things that we think are important, right? So this is more to jot down what you like, what you think you would want your kid to know, and just reevaluate as the year goes on and see what you can add in. So here's some ideas. Idea 1, caring for a pet or responsibility. I think sometimes, especially, we often don't think about the fact that caring for a pet is technically a life skill. If you can care for another pet or learn how to feed them, learn how to take care of something other than just yourself, it's actually a life skill. And most kids jump at the idea. Maybe it's not a pet that you know, necessarily think about normally. So for example, it could be a goldfish, or in my kid's case, a goat. But I digress. Caring for a pet can give your child the opportunity to enjoy different, learning how to care for something, take responsibility. And technically, yes, it's a life skill. Number 2, kitchen skills. So kitchen skills can vary from where your food even comes from to how to prepare it, how to feed a group of people, how to kind of gauge how many people you're going to feed, how to stay on a budget while you're doing so. Because, let's face it, we all love a good meal, but sometimes staying within your budget is a very desired life skill. Because not all of us are going to be able to afford 5-star meals all the time, right? So learning how to stay within your budget and stay within your means and be able to really think about, okay, how do I plan this budget? How do I incorporate things? What can I do in order to make sure that everyone in my family is properly fed? A way you can implement this is simply give them a budget, take them to the store, and let them try. It could be fun, even a lunch or a snack. It's a good idea to get their brains working, and it really helps them to understand money, which brings me to number 3, setting a budget. Let's face it, setting a budget isn't fun in the short term, but it's definitely beneficial in the long term. The Bible talks about us being the borrower being a slave to the lender. And so if we can help our children stay out of debt, whether that be school debt, credit card debt, or any other type of debt, and teach them how to save and plan accordingly, it can really help them in the long run. By the way, can I show you this seed really quick? This is called a Moon and Stars watermelon. I have not had a whole lot of success, but this is one of the sweetest watermelons, and it is like orange inside. And it apparently has like one big orange dot and like tiny little ones, so it's called Moon and Stars. I'm a seed geek, y'all. I'm a seed geek. So, planning a budget. Budgeting is so good. It's not fun, but it definitely keeps you out of trouble. And it helps us to be good stewards with our money for the Lord. That brings me to number 4. Learning to do your own mending, sewing, and laundry. Oh my goodness. There have been so many people when they get out of their parents' house, none of these things they can do. It was actually kind of cool tonight when I was on my way to do this video, kind of having doubts like, should I do it? Should I do it? Should I change direction? And this is the video that I felt like I should do. And guess what? My son was sitting there with my sewing machine, or not my sewing machine, my sewing kit, trying to mend up. And I taught him a quick ladder stitch. They're his farm pants, so it didn't have to be beautiful. And because he just didn't want his knee coming through his farm pants. They're really rough on their farm pants. It is what it is, It's farm pants. The goats aren't judgmental. And the horses don't care. Anyway, so teaching these basic things, like how to even sew on a button, is so important. Then that way that if there's ever a time that they need it, they have that skill in their arsenal. And by the way, these are not long lessons. This also brings me to another one. I think we're at number 5. Number 5, car maintenance. Car maintenance. You would be surprised how many people do not know how to fix a flat, change a tire, put on the tire in the back, change oil, or even know what the symbols on the dashboard mean. Now, all of this might seem super silly, but even if you teach them at a young age, they'll grow up learning and acquiring the knowledge so that they're not going to be so blown away when even they get to the time of driving. If you teach them how to change the oil and you teach them once every time and have them help you every time, by the time they get their own car, they're going to be very well able to do this. Or how to change a tire, how to make sure that your tire pressure is enough. It doesn't have to be like mechanic engine like worthy, but teaching them basic skills can really help them when they start to drive. Number 6. Number 6 is gardening skills, or where their food comes from. It kind of went along with the meal planning, but this is a little different. So if you are not a gardener, which not everyone is, not everyone enjoys it, taking a field trip to even learn the basics. I was listening to Roots and Refuge, which is a channel here on YouTube that was talking about how she has had people come out to the farm that didn't know you couldn't milk a bull or that a rooster didn't lay eggs. My age group people. Which means that there's an educational disconnect between what we eat, how it even comes about. So, I'm not saying you have to turn into an expert gardener, but maybe even just getting one little zucchini plant or something like that, just to help your children to understand how easy it is to grow. And it really is easy to grow. Seeds want to grow. They are still following the command in Genesis. It's amazing. I love it. Okay, so just allowing that to kind of happen and teaching them how to do that is amazing. By the way, if you have not tried this, delicata squash, oh my goodness, it is. We chop it up, scrape out the seeds, and put like a maple syrup glaze on it, and my kids love delicata squash. And the rind is actually soft enough to where you can eat it. Super good. And number 7. So number 7 is probably the most important one, but it kind of encompasses all of them in a roundabout way. Teaching wisdom, where to find wisdom, and where to find the information that we need. Now, for my kids and the way we live, we want to bring it all back to Scripture, right? All Scripture is God-breathed and useful for training, teaching, and correcting in righteousness, so that the man of God will be equipped for every good work. So, one of the things that we want them to learn is how to locate what they need in Scripture. Teaching them what book of the Bible does what. Like, hey, Proverbs is your wisdom literature. Psalms is a good book of prayers. Like, if you need to go and find, how to talk to God, or, prayers and things like that, go to the Psalms. If you need wisdom, go to the Proverbs, go to Ecclesiastes, and learn that every pursuit under the sun isn't worth it unless you're submitted to Christ. Go needing marital wisdom, go to the book of Ephesians, go to Colossians, just all of these things, and learning how to find this information, and also how to have those communications with other people. Now, one bonus one is reading nature signs. Now, this is one that I am super excited about learning myself. And this is, so if you ever talk to someone who is a lot older than you, they used to have telltale signs to know in your area what the weather was going to be like. Now, I know we have meteorologists and all of those things. I remember red glow at night, shepherd's delight, red glow in the morning, sailors take warning. Things like this that help you to understand. Or like when we see a snake, which isn't really nature signs, but I guess you could consider it a nature sign. We learned what snakes to stay away from by the color patterns and the colors. Those can be very vital information, especially if they are out. This could also fall into foraging skills, learning what is good, what is poisonous, identifying plants like poison ivy, poison oak, these kinds of things to identify just to help them. Really quick, something I'm super excited about is this baby. I like to make soap. And so I'm thinking, and I haven't made it in a while, so I get to revisit that skill, which I'm excited. But this, I want to kind of stick it in it. I want to grow it, cut it up, and stick it in the soap. What do you guys think? It's literally a loofah. Like the loofahs you buy. It grows in a gourd. Guys, I was blown away when I found out that. I'm a dork. Anyway, so being able to understand and learn those nature signs could be, could really help, especially if you just have been disconnected from that. And by the way, mamas, this is actually really fun for us to learn too. A lot of us didn't grow up, especially if you're in my generation. We didn't learn these things. unless you just had like a really cool, like in tune parents that knew how to do this and were willing to teach you. I just found out I stuck an empty pack of patty pan seeds in my squash. Oh. So these are just a few, and they are not limited. A couple others would be first aid. Teaching first aid would be very beneficial so that the kids know how to use the first aid kit, know how to bandage a wound, know how to clean a wound. These could also be very vital. Another thing would be teaching CPR. CPR is really good. Another thing that you could do is teaching how to flip breakers in your house. What happens when the power goes out? How to start a generator. How to prepare yourself in emergencies. These are all things I think we don't think about, and it doesn't have to be overwhelming. Jot down the ones that interest you and look how you can integrate it. Super easy. If you guys want to see how we integrate it, let me know and I'll make a video in that. It's a big squash. Super excited. Okay, sorry, I'm dorking off now. And I will talk to you, Lord willing, next week. I hope you guys have a wonderful new year, and I hope this helps you. All right, bye.